pulling it and taking it to closed session.
All right, so the first thing on the agenda is taking positive steps award, and we do not have that tonight, correct? Or do we?
We do not.
Okay. And we do not have any presentation. Does not look like we have any public input. See, Terry, I can go fast too.
Maybe go faster than I'll go tonight because I'm looking for.
And then we have our consent, well, I have to read everything yet, so you're good. We have our consent agenda items. So we have our vouchers.
The minutes.
We approved the minutes already.
There's two sets of minutes,
No, it's 2 different sets of minutes.
2 different minutes.
I'm sorry, you're right. Yes, so we have our minutes, which looked good to me, you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't here, but I looked it all over. And then we have our vouchers. Why is my screen doing this? Okay. We have a fundraiser request, our tennis brat stand fundraiser. And then we do not have any fundraiser reports. We do not have any field trip requests. Sorry, my screen is, we do not have any committee recommendations for approval, which is kind of weird, to be honest. We have our 2024-2025 assessment schedule, and then we have our Sauk Prairie Memorial Hospital Athletic Trainer Agreement. Under resignations and retirement, we do not have any retirements, and we have elementary special education assistant resignation, advocate newspaper advisor, LHS yearbook advisor, and high school special education department coordinator. For co-curricular, we have our advocate newspaper advisor, our LHS yearbook advisor, and our LHS NHS advisor, volunteer high school cross-country coach, we have esports coach, we have 10 district department chairs, we have 19 coordinator department heads, we have 12 first-year mentors, 15 second-year mentors, and a high school assistant volleyball coach. And then under community program for crew, we have 1 new hire, and then we have 10 volunteer crew coaches. Under regular staff, we have a special education assistant level change, 3 of them. We have a new high school math teacher. We have 3rd through 5th grade interventionist. We have a middle school special education assistant. We have elementary OSC special education assistant, and we have an educational assistant lead. And then under personnel, we are going to, where am I? We have leave without request, 4 of them. And then we are going to pull the administrative professional improvement request and go back to closed session to discuss that. And then that is it for our consent agenda.
So I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the pulling of the administrative professional improvement request to go back into closed session.
Can I actually ask a question before we do that?
I will second that.
So, but before we,
Oh, do we need to amend?
yes, so
Sorry.
if you go, we never got to it, on the personnel other, there's a recommended motion, because we also need to add Limkey as a high school special ed department chair coordinator and approval of the tennis brat stand fundraiser.
Oh, it's
You see where that is?
Yes.
Oh.
You even have it.
Okay.
We just did.
Well,
Oh,
Sarah,
it's
Sarah
up here.
can rescind
So-
her second.
She can just amend it and
I'm
add a
just
friendly,
gonna- yes, I'll
friendly amendment to it.
So, and then motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the additional approval of the resignation of Ann Lemke as HS Special Education Department Coordinator and approval of the tennis brat stand fundraiser on August 24th, 2024.
You approve that amendment,
And-
Sarah?
Yes, I approve that amendment.
Okay.
Adding those items, yes. I will, yes, I
Now you can
second.
ask the question.
Okay. I just wondered, what does it mean to have the level change for the special ed assistants? I just don't know what that
So
terminology
our
is.
special education assistants come in at different level 1, just as a regular education staff member.
Okay.
Level 2 has certain skills, work with certain students. Level 3 is our most skilled people, because
okay.
they work with our most difficult students, whether it be because of behavior difficulties or more health-related issues like tube feeding or things like that. So they So we have different levels. And so
Okay.
we're moving a couple of them from a level 2 to a level 3.
Is the implication, is it just like, does that increase the pay or like what? Okay. Okay, I just was curious what.
There's a,
Oh, see, oh, you know what? Sorry, I can't. That's
gotcha.
right, okay.
So yeah, there's a whole.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
All right, so motion by Terry, second by Sarah Ramish. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, then we have our administrative reports. Student service, Andrea's.
Andrea's not here tonight.
Okay.
She's excused.
And we have Lodi Primary School.
All right, good evening. So just wanted to just update again about summer school. We had a really successful summer school program. We had about 70 staff members that were teaching the different classes, and the exact enrollment numbers are around the 900 range for all of our classes that we had.
Wow.
But it was a really wonderful 2 sessions. The kids were extremely excited about just all the different things from fishing, golf, soccer, tennis, swimming, diamond art, Legomania. Just a lot of great things they were participating in. And then at the primary school, our staff have really been involved with a lot of things for curriculum hours. It really aligned with pillar 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we've been doing some work with math fact fluency and establishing some of those routines that we're going to start with and talk with the teachers about during the pre-session, but building what that will look like for our students. UFly, which is our intervention program that we're using, and I think we will have all teachers K through 2nd within the next year will be trained in that intervention. Our impact team, we had a data retreat to kind of plan and think about what we were doing for this coming year. Eric and I did that together for K through 5. We're just trying to do a lot of different things together. So we had that last week. The library team, Amy Good and Paula Tunn, are meeting to talk about their library plan. WIN planning, kind of figuring out, again, how to support those students that need that really intensive intervention, but as well as some of those that might need an enrichment or extra practice. We had grade level representatives meeting last week to do all of that. We also had an SSIT
Which is
team
what?
retreat.
What's
What's that?
that again? Tell me what that is again.
Student Success Intervention
Okay.
Team. And that was also something that Eric and I did jointly together. And that's really looking at that when there is an issue or a problem, teachers are working to solve that in the classroom, but when it gets to the point where data is showing they might need the extra support, having just a clear process of how do they get that help and support and what do we do to kind of do in the next step. So Eric and I did that jointly last week as well. And then Val and Carrie have been working on second step. So it's been a busy summer.
Sounds like it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Eric is not here, so we'll jump to Lodi Middle School.
All right, good evening, board. First thing I want to do is introduce some new staff members to you. Most important thing that we do, like my most important job, is to make sure that we have the right people on the bus. And I feel really good about the people that we're bringing on board. We have Mike Myers. He's going to come to us from Portage. He's taught German in his career, but he's most recently been in Portage working as a counselor and a behavior coach. Hunter May is going to come to us to teach 7th grade language arts. She's going to come from Janesville Craig. And then Katie Homuth is going to join us, who actually lives in Lodi. She's going to come to us from Sun Prairie, but she also spent some time in Verona teaching science as well. And then Janelle Seavam is going to join. She's been in the district already, but she's going to now be at the middle school as well. So we're super excited to welcome those staff members and see what they can help us out with at the middle school. Summer meetings, Amy alluded to some of it. Summer meetings to me are just so important, and we appreciate the hours that are given and the money that is given to that. During the school year, it's really difficult to move the school forward because, school's happening and it takes all of your energy just to go day to day. So it's so great during the summer to be able to just pause and really focus our energy on moving the school forward. So I just want to thank the people on these teams, the Student Success Team, Scheduling Team, PBIS Team, SEL Advisory Team, and the Impact Team, and probably lots of other teams that met that I don't know about. Just want to reiterate again how important those hours are, so we really appreciate the time that you give us for that. And then one thing coming up, 6th grade orientation. So one thing in the last month that I've kind of thought about is as we transition 6th graders into our building, how can we help families transition? Our 6th grade team does an awesome job when the kids step in the door, making them feel safe and really taking them through, like, this is what a middle school day is going to feel like. And on my end, though, I didn't think we did a great job of helping parents really understand what that's going to look like and feel like. So we're going to have a meeting on August 21st from 6 to 7 in the gym. Just going to have parents come in. We'll go through like what a day looks like for their kids, give them an opportunity to ask questions. And also just an opportunity to get a lot of parents in the door, which is gonna feel really good, to start connecting with families right away. What else is happening? We have a new language arts curriculum. I don't know what happened with the formatting on here. We have a new language arts curriculum we're really looking forward to implementing this year, that we piloted last year, so we're really looking forward to implementing that, and I wanna thank all the teachers for all the work they did with that, and Nick Carls and Elise, for all they're doing this summer too, to just make sure our staff is ready and prepared, to go there. And I think that's all from the middle school.
That's a lot.
Derek, I think that's a great idea. I wanna, and personally, my experience, I felt like from elementary to middle school was the biggest transition for the kids, but it is for us too, cause that's when they really, like high
Changing
school,
so
they're
much.
like ready for it, I feel like, but middle school, like,
That's where
you're
the
not
change
as
is.
involved and.
Well, and then you're
Nobody
going to
knows.
every different class.
It's a larger, yeah, I think it's a really big change to go from class to class.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
For
But
parents as
For
much
the
as kids.
parents too, I appreciate that.
Right, there's a new language,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in the middle school, so we'll help parents get up to beat on that.
Well, thank you.
Can I go back? Can I ask Amy a question? Sorry.
No,
I
can't
couldn't-
anymore, we're done.
I
We're
couldn't
not just
find
kidding.
it quick
Yeah,
enough
yeah.
when you were talking. SSIT team, right, which you
Yes.
did with yourself, I'm sorry, the primary school and OSC elementary. But now, Eric has SWAN team, and he's not here, so I can't ask him.
Yeah.
Can you, what's the difference between the two, and why is he switching to SWAN? And
Yep, so
they both
Swan-
sound great.
Yeah, so no, the Swan team, from my understanding, that is something that he has at his building, and it's more just directly with, his school counselor is a part of that, as well as I believe some special ed teachers too. And it's more a student that might have a just need behavioral support at some point. And so as an administrator, he might be able to support, the school counselor might, but if they're busy or something like this, it could be another person that could kind of come in and be an extra support for them.
So there's a team ready to go.
Yes, exactly,
Right,
yep, to
and
kind of
then-
just help, yep, with
So
those
what
other
does SPON
situations.
stand for?
Oh,
Student with
gosh.
a need.
Student with a need, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the SSIT is more looking specifically at the data for the individual students, whether it's academic or
Got it.
behavior, and
That
kind of more of
makes-
that formal process of how do you support them, whereas this one is like on a day-to-day basis.
Right. No,
that
it
a
makes
student
perfect
might
sense
have.
that they're
Yeah.
two separate things.
Yeah,
But
totally.
That's what I was needing clarity. Thank you.
Yeah, no
Sorry
problem.
you didn't have time to jump in before.
I couldn't find the SWAN thing. Searching.
High school.
Thanks, Heather. Just as Derek did, I want to introduce some of our new staff members, or all of our new staff members. We have 4 of them, so you can read what they wrote about themselves and some of their interests. So first of all, we have Dan Pavlu, who's one of our new math teachers. He's coming from Baraboo. He actually was the former high school baseball coach in Baraboo, so we're very excited to have him. And his name probably sounds a little bit familiar because his wife Jessica teaches at the primary school, and they live in Lodi, so he's pretty excited to come here. Scott McCann, another math teacher. I'll let you read a little bit about him. One interesting thing about Scott McCann, that picture you see right there is when he was on Jeopardy.
I was gonna say, that looks like Jeopardy.
I said it looks like he's on Jeopardy.
So I was worried he wouldn't want me to tell you that, but he sent me the picture
Yep,
of him
yep,
on
yep.
Jeopardy, so I assumed it was okay. So yes, he was
Well,
a
it's
Jeopardy
a great
contestant.
picture.
You can
Very
look
cool.
him up. He should have won the game that he was in, but he ended up not. So, but he was so close. But yes, he's one of our new math teachers. Jill Gort, who was at the middle school for a few years as an educational assistant. She's very familiar with the high school because she's been a cheer coach for, I think she told me for 21 years. So she is our new administrative assistant in the main office in the CRC.
Jill.
We're really looking forward to her coming over. And then finally, Garrett Schmidt, you probably recognize the name Schmidt, so Garrett was a student at Lodi High School, and he had been teaching in Baraboo and was looking to get back to his hometown. So we're very excited for him to join our English department next year. Next thing, there's lots of pictures there, not a lot of information, but lots of pictures of our Spain exchange. So we have 17 students and 3 staff members that are in Spain right now. They're coming back pretty soon here. So you can take a look at all those photos. Lila Shep, Mason Kittleson, and Jim McKellar have been chaperoning that trip. I really appreciate all the effort that they put into, first of all, hosting, and then right away they traveled over to Spain and spent 3 weeks there. And they should, like I said, they should be coming back here in a couple days. So you can take a look at those pictures. Right around August, actually this comes out in July, we have Academic All-State for a couple sports. One of them was golf, so there were 4 members of our golf team that were honored as being Academic All-State, and that was Walter Veld, Kogan Barron, Sawyer Barron, and Trevor Coots. Their team also made academic All-State, and that included freshman J.C. Heinzman. You can see her picture on the bottom, and then you can see the criteria for what it takes for our kids to be academic All-State. And our golfers traditionally have made academic All-State most years, so pretty proud of them. Soccer also, we have one student athlete, Connor Picard, graduating senior, that made academic All-State. And one of the criteria is a 3.85 higher cumulative GPA, so that was pretty impressive. And you probably remember Connor, he was one of the seniors that spoke at graduation, so. Next section, we did get our AP scores back this summer, so our advanced placement tests that lots of our students take. I just wanted to provide a list of the AP classes that we do offer. The only one that's new is the AP pre-calculus class, so that was something that actually the kids did really well on as far as their AP scores. And there are a number of students have gone up just a little bit last year, so we went from 152 to 174 from 2023 to 2024, and 66.09% of them are scoring at least 3 or higher, which gets them credit in a lot of universities and colleges, so they're doing really well. And then the next part of it is the AP Scholars, AP Scholar Continued, AP Scholar with Honors, and AP Scholar with Distinction, and you can read a little bit about what the criteria is. So some of them are graduating seniors or former seniors, some current seniors or incoming seniors, and then some juniors as well. So they have really dedicated themselves to taking lots of difficult classes in high school, and it's paying off. Next thing, I did have 3 staff members actually, including me, and a middle school staff member. We were able to go to the PLC Institute in Madison, which was awesome because normally it's not in Madison. It was a 3-day conference. So I really appreciate Renee Potter, Christy Paskey, Jason, and middle school Spanish teacher Luis Flores. He was able to join us to go to this 3-day conference where we learned a lot about PLCs, and we'll actually get more professional development about PLCs this year. So it was a great 3 days. I learned a lot, and I think our staff members did as well. I did want to mention weight room updates. So you guys probably remember approving some money that was going to go towards the weight room. Well, the crew, Neil's crew, plus Kyle Mack, Adam Sheldon, and some of the other football coaching staff, and a lot of student athletes have really helped with that. Moving the weight equipment, moving it to one side so they could finish one side of the floor, and then moving it to the other side so they could finish the other side of the floor. New lighting, electrical work, new paint scheme on the walls, and some new and refurbished equipment. So if you get a chance, come over to the high school and check it out. It's Adam Sheldon, who has been working like crazy to put together equipment, and he does not need to do that. That's not his job, but he wants to. So it's great that he's doing that for us. And then finally, just some of the start dates for athletics, which some of them have already, well, one of them has already begun, and that's football. And then you can see the first home event. We will be playing Monroe, which is my alma mater. Cheesemakers are coming to town on August 23rd.
Who are you gonna root for?
Who am I gonna root for?
Where are you gonna
Probably the
stand?
Blue Devils, since I work for them.
Where are you gonna stand?
Said probably.
No, I will be. I don't recognize many Monroe names anymore, but
What colors do they wear? Can you?
they wear red and white.
Oh, well, it's
I still have my old
obviously
jersey. Maybe I could wear it that day. Maybe bad idea.
That'd be good.
It doesn't fit as well as it used to. And then there's some other important dates that are listed. The big one, I think, is 9th grade parent orientation. Derek talked a little bit about 6th grade, which I think is a great idea. We have our parent orientation where they get to walk through their schedules and learn all the ins and outs of Lodi High School. And then we always have our freshmen come in first on the first day, and we do link crew activities, which we'll talk a little bit more about in September, and then we have our first day on Wednesday.
So when you do the parents, do they ever get to like walk where their kids are?
They do.
They do, okay.
Yes, and I'm out there telling them to hurry because they only have 5 minutes.
Yeah, they give us the schedule.
We give them the
Yep.
exact
Yeah,
amount
and
of
if you have
time.
to go to the bathroom, you gotta fit it in there.
Well, and it's an opportunity to go home to their kids and say, you can make it in 5 minutes, it's no big deal, so,
Yeah, if I did it, you could. Yeah.
that's it.
No, and I love how the 9th graders go first for that day with us,
Yes.
everybody there. I think that's good too.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And Nick is not here, so we will not do curriculum, but LCAT.
Okay, so Sarah completed the youth mental health first aid training facilitator course. She's the new Brian, because Brian moved up to Paula. So this program equips participants with the skills to recognize, comprehend, and address signs of mental health and substance use issues in children and adolescents 12 to 18. Sarah is now able to provide this training to school staff and community members. The facilitator training costs were covered by a grant from the state of Wisconsin DPI. 10th Annual National Night Out event was held on Tuesday, August 6th at Haberman Park in Lodi. This free community event recognized our area's first responders, brought individuals and family together for a fun night. Approximately 500 people attended. And you know what was so much fun? People heard the helicopter come in, they heard the music from Mr. Susi, and there were people that just came in that didn't have kids and stuff, that were just kind of wondering what was going on, and it was, and hung out. So, anyway, it was a great night. We had more people involved than normal. The garden club came and gave out free bouquets to people, and the fishing people, who were they, Trouts Unlimited? They were there and did an activity with the creek, with the kids. It was just really, and the adults like that. So it's so much fun for me because I see the grandparents, people that graduated from Lodi that are here again with their kids plus everybody else. So it was a really good night. Beautiful weather. So the second annual Duck the Wall with Art Show took place during National Night Out. And that was a decision this year to give those youth more availability to everybody coming down to the park. And that went really well. There was a lot of people. I think they were selling their art fairly well. I mean, I didn't check in, but there was a lot of action over there. So an increase of 4 from previous year. There were 17 students that took part, and they're from primary school all the way to high school. Additionally, art students from Lodi High School volunteered to do face painting, which was absolutely incredible. It was really good. The LCAT trailer was put to good use at multiple alcohol-free events this summer at the Lodi Fair. The OSC used the trailer to operate a lemonade stand. It also made an appearance at National Night Out and the Chalk the Walk event, and it was also in the Susie the Duck Parade with Brian and Sarah in tow. And me. I made it.
Well, thank you guys for doing all that, 'cause it's
Can
a
I
lot.
ask you who Sarah who?
Oh, I know
We
you're
have
gonna
so many
say that.
Sarahs.
I know, there's another one. So I have the same issue
It's
at
her
work.
last
Sarah
name.
McChesney?
McChesney.
Ah,
I wanted to say Mackenzie, I think that was
Oh,
right, McChesney.
I just wanted to mention, I know Nick's not here, but I'm assuming the board members saw this, and if people didn't see it, I thought it was amazing that our district received $13,560.49
Yep.
to reinvest in the youth apprenticeship and certification programs.
Yeah, I saw that
Since we had students going through that. I just think that's an amazing program, so I just wanted to mention that, because Nick's not here to
And
brag
we
about
do,
it.
that, we do always get that back,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's awesome.
it's a great program.
All right, Vince, you're up.
Yeah, thank you. So just a reminder for the board that we have board professional development this week on Wednesday night. We'll be meeting here with Drew Horwick Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. at the district office. We will start with the dinner and conversation and proceed to reviewing collective commitments and going from there. There is a sign-up sheet for subs moving around the board table here somewhere, so make sure you sign up. I'm already ahead, so thank you for doing that. At the end of the board meeting tonight, we will also look at, get everybody's calendars out and look at picking a date for the second date. So I have some dates that we can look at, but we'll do that at the end of the meeting. Elementary school OSC roofing project. We've had a couple of setbacks with water entering the building and just a lot of rain days in general. We're still on schedule for the inside of the building to be ready for staff by next Monday. The roofing project will still be ongoing when school starts. However, the tear off and replacement portion of the project should be done by then, and that's the portion where we don't want people in the building when they're tearing things off. But they'll be up on the roof finishing things, gas piping and putting detailing and finishing touches on everything for a few weeks when school is going on. Back to school, we are excited that all of our, as many of our administrators talked about, new teaching staff members will start with us on August 21st. We have 10 new teaching staff members. On Monday, August 26th, we will welcome all staff back to the district at the start of the school year with a breakfast at the high school commons prepared for our food service partners Taher, which is then followed by staff pictures and introductions of new staff and the unveiling of the Lodi Pride video. Board members are welcome to attend that morning. Please let Mo know if you're going to attend. And then we are really excited to be welcoming our 4K through 9 students on September 3rd and our 10th through 12th grade students starting on September 4th. And finally, we had Picture Day this past week, along with everything else that was going on, right? I just wanted to say thank you all staff who made Picture Day on August 8th such a success. It's always a great way for our students and families to get thinking about going back to school. You saw a lot of the new swag out at Susie the Duck Parade, people wearing their new things. Special shout out to Maureen Palmer, who really spearheads in organizing that event, so thanks, Mo, for doing that.
Awesome, thank you. President report. I want to start by saying thank you to Terry for running last month's board meeting for me. I also heard that she knows how to run a meeting quite quickly, and I think that my fellow board members might want me to take some lessons from you. But seriously, thank you for letting me spend time with my family on vacation, and it's nice to know that we as board members can depend on and help each other out when needed. It's hard to believe, but our next board meeting, the Lodi School District, will be in session. Kids will already have almost a week of school done. With that said, our teachers and administration have been working all summer to prepare for the upcoming school year. I want to personally say thank you to all of you for your hard work, dedication, and time you have put in for our kids. You are a big part of our student success, and we are incredibly grateful for you. Parents, thank you for keeping the kids busy all summer while still finding the balance to give them a summer filled with relaxation and fun too. I know it's hard to fit everything in and summer flies by. Just enjoy the last couple of weeks, which I know can be easier said than done. Between trying to get them back on task for school, getting all their supplies ready, and the conflicting feelings of wanting them home, but also needing your sanity back and getting them back into the classrooms. I want to thank our community for once again reminding us how lucky and blessed we are to live here. LCAT's National Night Out was a success and enjoyed by many. And then in the same week, seeing the Chamber of Commerce putting on Susie the Duck Day. Thank you to all the volunteers and anyone that had to do with these events. There is a lot of behind-the-scenes work that comes with these types of events, lots of sponsors that make it possible, and we are so incredibly grateful for all of you. On Wednesday, the board will be attending our first session on working to get to know each other a little bit more, to learn or to remind us board members of everyone's roles in our district and the best strategies for working together as a board. We did these sessions a couple of years ago and we all agreed that it was very helpful, and I know being my first year on the board, it was a great learning experience. I felt much more comfortable around my fellow board members, felt more confident in my role as a board member, and motivated to do the best I could for the district. The more informed everyone is about our roles and responsibilities, the better that everyone can work together, which means better outcomes for our district. And of course, with the school year starting, please, any teacher, staff member, administrator, parent, student, and/or community member that wants to ever contact any of us board members, please do not hesitate. We try to be involved wherever and whenever we can, but we need to hear about things that we might not know about, personal experiences that we have not experienced, and different points of view in general. We are elected officials. You put us on this board to serve this district, so please help us to serve you. Lastly, but most importantly, I wish everyone a wonderful end to their summer and wish for a successful and enjoyable school year. All right, and then we have our communication plan.
Yeah, so to help the School District of Lodi implement Pillar 3 of the strategic plan, which is innovative communication connection, the board approved the district engaging Patty Lux to look at the progress we made on our 22-24 communication plan and to develop and refresh a 3-year communication plan for the district. Patty was unable to be here tonight due to professional commitment. However, she did take time to put together an 11-minute video, which was shared with the board. It kind of walks really outlining the process we used, how she evaluated the former communication plan, the conversations she had with the committee, also with community members that she reached out to, and the process she used for developing the communication plan for the district. Some of the things, the highlights of our former plan were she saw that there was a lot of progress in communication. There were significant strides been made in improving communication internally and externally. People have noticed increase in the use of social media and newsletters for public outreach, more transparency and consistency between the district and the community, better connection with the school board's activities, achievement on the goals that were set. There's a couple that still need to be worked on, but there was plans to get those finished. And community expectations, that we have real high expectations for communications from our district in this community. And then overall, she also shared some results of some surveys that we did on communication in the district. And staff, 98% of our staff that took the internal survey said that information is communicated to them effectively. And families with the school perception survey, 84% agreed that the communication from their school is good or great. and 88% agree the communication comes from the school in a timely manner. And overall, there was a lot of success and progress on communication and the communication goals. So that being said, as we met with our communication committee, we came up with 4 new goals with lots of tactics underneath them as we went through those. Goal number 1 is continue to provide stakeholders with information that feeds community pride and support. Continue to evaluate the best types of communication with our various stakeholders. Goal 2, continue efforts to develop and refresh the consistent branding plan. 3, encourage and sustain our Lodi Pride initiatives. And 4, develop a strategic communication and engagement plan for the vital growth of the district. So attached to the agenda item, board members will find the documents that provide the summary of the progress that was made and the proposed 3-year communication plan for the district to adopt. Moving forward, the administration recommends that we adopt the communication plan as presented.
I'll move to adopt the School District of Lodi Communications Plan covering the 2024-25, 2025-26, and 2026-27 school years.
And I'll second.
Motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion? I just want to thank everybody that was on that
Yeah,
committee for
it's very
putting their
exciting
time
to.
doing
Yeah,
that.
a lot of them
Sure.
served twice. Like
Yeah.
I reached out to people that served on it 2 years ago so they could see the progress. And then we also had some newer people, a new board member,
And students.
yeah, so we had students both times, so, but new students, right? The other students had graduated.
Perfect, thank you guys. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And we have our community linkage section.
Yeah, so the board held 3 community linkage events last year, 2 with staff and 1 with the community. The community session was in December of 2023. The topic the board presented on last year was strategic planning, referendum 2022, and green space. The personnel committee of the board discussed whether the board wanted to do something similar to this coming school year. Wanted to change the format, wanted to increase or decrease the number of sessions, or wanted to move away from this concept altogether. The personnel committee discussed the possibility of meeting in with staff in probably 2 groups, 4K through 5 group and a 6-12 group. And maybe the possibility of 1 community linkage session that was done last year. They kind of talked about possibly, when they brainstormed about what a topic could be, might be an update on the 2022 referendum. We're also talking about a little bit about Act 20 reading as well. The committee did not make any recommendation, and just thought this topic should come to the full board, whether the board is interested in doing that again or not.
I think we should, again, I mean,
The thing is, it was lightly attended,
right.
the community one. Yeah, and I mean, it was December, and, you know, we put a lot of effort into it, but again, the people that do come, you know, they go out and talk to other people, and, you know, so it might be good to find a different time of year. But I don't know that that's gonna make a difference if we have another time. No,
Well, that was my concern at the committee level.
Yeah.
The
We do it, but a different time.
limited attendance. I understand the idea of not stopping it because of that, but it
Was
just-
there any discussion like on what time of year, or, I mean,
No.
No, we just
Is
figured it would
something
be
like
something that would be good with the,
October, early November, is that?
I guess it just depends if we can get our ducks in a row.
Susie the
I
duck,
mean-
we just had Susie the duck, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I would argue reverse it. So what do you want to talk about, right? And then can you get the
Well,
ducks in
yeah,
a row
right,
and talk
right,
about those things?
right.
So talking about the referendum, I think is very easy, because we've already spent this money, and I think that's the easy one. It's the Act 21 that none of us know enough about.
Right.
So we have to rely on administration to help us.
Right.
But it's a huge learning experience for us, because
Yes.
when we have to present it, we
Yes.
have to know it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
right.
so it means we know what Act 20 is then and how it works. And I can't confidently say I know that right now, so I know
Yeah.
parts and pieces, but,
Pizza, yes.
so I think talking about Act 20 would be really good for us.
Well, I
And the
think
community.
it would
And the
be,
community.
yeah, because this is I mean, I just keep looking at it and I go back to how they're teaching reading compared to what, you know, and it was like, as a grandma, if I was doing reading with a little
Humping
person
up.
right now, I'd be doing it all wrong. I mean, it's, yeah, because it's so different, and so I think that wouldn't be a bad thing at
Well,
all.
it's kinda like when the whole math thing changed, and I'm gonna look at Mr. Pritzborn with the whole grid thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm a long division person,
Me
and
too,
I'm
I'm
a-
like, when are you
Yeah.
going to long division? My daughter's like, they said
And the
we're
whole
And
gonna
Ag
get to
20 is
that.
probably here to stay.
Okay, multiplication thing, and
So did we want to stick with just the 2 subjects, and then maybe that would be a little easier on us, or do we wanna try to throw something else in there? Cause we're already gonna have like a separate meeting for green space, right?
Right, so we'll have to talk
For the
with facility
community.
finance,
Oh.
like when we wanna do that. That's
Yeah.
gonna be,
So we might
Yes.
just wanna leave that off the table since we're having a
I
meeting
think the
about it.
2 would be okay.
Was
Yeah.
this recorded last time?
No.
Because
No.
I did attend the
Yeah,
one that
yeah, you
was in
did.
the
Yeah,
winter.
Yep.
Yes, you were.
And I was extremely impressed. I was like, wow, you know, I learned so much as just someone that lives in the community.
It would
And
be
I,
nice
and
to
I was
record it.
impressed that all of you guys, you know, were so knowledgeable about all these things and.
Became
so-
knowledgeable.
Well,
Became
okay.
knowledgeable.
But, you learned it, at
Tyler's
least for the
making eye
presentation.
contact with us when
But
we're
I
talking
just,
about this.
you know, was thinking that perhaps if they were recorded, and then put up on, I don't know, like in, maybe not Peach Jar, but on the website or something like that, or shared via
Support
social
site.
media, then at least the reach, so we
Right.
can get it out there versus
That's a nice
just the
idea.
people that come to it, so.
And I would love, I mean, last year was the first time we kinda did this, and so first year is always a little.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was a
So,
new
yeah,
thing.
you
that's
wanna
why I
keep it in.
pushed, I would like to do it again, and I would love it to happen every year, and then hopefully people will expect it, and hopefully get more, but the online, that would be big too.
Would we need Mr. Potter for that?
maybe,
Oh, some of it.
depends
Do you
when we
know
do it.
the
Like if
other
we did it,
thing-
depends how we recorded it, right? If
Right.
we recorded, like we record this, would be different versus how we record, like, for example, the gallery walk,
Right,
right? So
True,
then Mr.
yeah.
Potter does both of those, but then he's walking around with an iPad
Right.
and closes in a little closer.
he's very professional.
Because it's difficult to have those type of conversation. I mean, you could do it here, right? You can have tables set up and have people sit and.
This would be big enough, actually, unless
Would
we
be.
get a big, huge crowd.
Depends if, like, we did at high school last time because we wanted Taher to provide food.
I
Yeah.
know, and there was an
Remember.
awful lot of food left over, it was very sad.
I
Although what
also-
was there was so good.
I
Maybe
just
they
like
just
the
make us
idea-
cookies again.
I like the idea too of, it just informs the community really about what is happening, like what the school board's actually doing. Because if you're not someone that is regularly tuning in and watching
Right.
these, then, you know, if you see it pop up on social media,
Sure.
maybe you'll watch a
Yes.
quick
Yeah.
5-minute synopsis and go, oh, I didn't know they were doing that.
Olympics are on. So
think
I
the
have, I have
community-
another
oh, go
question.
ahead.
What about a little something on AI? Because I think people have a lot of questions about that, and it would have to be, I don't know how we design that, and we would have to, again, talk to Tyler, but more about the policies and stuff, not necessarily what A is, but maybe how it's used.
Our administrators are working on that, like to do a presentation, like, 'cause we have a couple times a year where we bring parents in too.
So we don't have to do
Different
that.
things, so I would think that would go at the administrative level versus the board, because the board's not really doing AI. But
No.
you know, the board's doing a referendum 2022, and then we can talk about Act 20, but again,
Yeah.
it's not
Right.
really what the board's doing.
Well, maybe that would just make it just having one or two, you know, if you want to include Act 20. You know, make it a shorter time that maybe would attract more people than versus say an hour or more.
Would it be possible to have this either after the green space meeting or before it?
We'll have to talk about when we want to do green space,
Right.
because
Okay.
we've talked about, like, when we want to get community input, right? And
Right,
some of the
and how-
other administrators I've talked to is like, it's too early, because if you're gonna have something like that, it's gonna be on a referendum. Earliest it would be is fall of 2026. If you have that conversation now and have some decisions, that kind of fades from memory a little bit.
Yes.
And then you're going back to surveying people about it in the spring, so you probably need to push that off a
That
little
makes
bit,
sense.
either this spring or the following year, but have that information, have the plan put together. I
Well,
don't see that happening this fall.
yeah, and, you know, we can have our things that we talk about, but we'd like to hear also from the community, you know, like when we had the, board meetings, or we had the listening sessions with, the different school buildings. I mean, something like that, more,
Well, I think that's what we need to advertise
That
it
was the
maybe a little
point.
bit more too, is
That was
that,
the point.
yeah, we don't,
Come and ask questions.
yeah.
Doesn't have to be about these two things.
No, that's what
No.
we need to just make sure that people are aware of. We're gonna present a little bit, but a lot of it, we want people to ask us questions instead of having to come in and do public input or email us or whatever.
because
They
I
can
even,
actually just have a
yeah.
conversation.
Maybe
So-
we could say RSVP encouraged, and that we could at least get a little bit of an idea.
We did that last
Well,
time.
we
Oh,
did
you
that
did?
last
Okay.
time.
I didn't
Guys,
know.
we still have way too much food.
Okay. Or not have dinner, but just like some, yeah, cheese and crackers and fruit, whatever.
Yes, you look like
Yeah,
you're ready to
Tracy, you
say
were gonna say
something.
something.
I am. I think the community is probably interested in the green space. I have a hard time picturing the community be interested in Act 20. Just me personally, I don't know, I geek out on it, I think it's so cool, but when I try to explain it to my husband, his eyes glaze over and he's just like, this is the boringest conversation we've ever had. So I don't know how you make that look exciting, or if we call it something else,
Unless we wanna do have the referendum be a main thing, and if we do wanna do like a couple mini things, you know, only a few minutes in Act 20, maybe a youth apprenticeship.
that
you
would be
know,
great.
Something that would let people know more of what's out there, cause I didn't really even know a lot about that
That's
until it
true.
was on the
That
curriculum.
is a good topic that
Yeah.
we need to.
That would be great.
So it doesn't have to be, because we don't wanna stuff too much info, and people
Right.
are like, oh my gosh, I
Right.
just want to talk to these people, or whatever. We want plenty of it, but we could,
So you could do our community connections.
yeah,
Right.
The
Yeah.
youth apprenticeship would fall into that category, so you talk about the work that, through our strategic plan that we're doing on building connections with our community and with our community businesses, including the job fair and the career fair and
Yeah.
youth apprenticeship programs and
And the
those things that are
different
going on.
businesses that are involved.
You could absolutely do that.
so now we'll do that, and then everybody else sign up, you guys have to make 2 days out of it or something. I'm just kidding.
And we'll have to have food all 3 days.
So maybe
For some
something like
reason, I
that,
don't think
and if
that will
there's,
happen.
So what we could do is communicate, community connections, and I think referendum is always a good one,
I
because
think that
people
has to be, yeah.
Yes.
always wanna know
Where we're at.
where that money went and
Yeah.
and why. But that would be 2 things we could look at, and again, I would recommend always communicating from the inside out, so communicate with staff first,
Yep.
Yes.
because when you have somebody, you meet with them, later, the first person they're gonna come to is not the superintendent,
No.
probably not a board member, they're gonna run into their classroom teacher or an education assistant who, and then like, hey, I went through this and they talked about this, what do you know about that? And you don't want your teachers to go, I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah,
Right.
right? You wanna like,
I'm just busy.
have that opportunity.
Yeah,
So we could look at that and try to look at something like in early November, or November timeframe, try to do something.
Gotta get it before hunting, holidays.
We did it
Well,
for
we looked at the
Halloween,
last
could
time
give
too, we
them
talked
treats.
about, we moved it up because we wanted to keep it out of the board election season as well.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
so that's when you'd be looking at sometime.
yeah, I know it would be a push, but man, if we could do it like, I don't know, I feel like as a mom, I was always like, whoa, September and October, and even November, I am like on top of my stuff and everything. And then you slowly are like, oh my God, this is super overwhelming and we don't have any time. So like, you know, it's that fresh start. So if we could do it in the first, I just feel like it might be more of a thing that maybe. And then,
We
you
also
know,
have to remember.
come
we're
May
doing
or,
another retreat probably.
So what we'll have to do is
yeah,
We'll have to look
start
at-
thinking about who is going to present on what. Because one of the other things we talked about, remember, was last year was like, when we talked about with the staff, and one of the pieces of feedback I got from staff, which I thought was very powerful, is like,
yeah,
the board has to present on this versus looking to
Right.
the administration for answers, like,
yeah.
and I agree with what Adam said. I think one of the most powerful things that happened last year is the in-depth knowledge each of you gained in those different areas, much more in-depth than you typically would have,
We knew
which has been,
our-
which was great.
Yeah,
But you gotta learn it, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna teach it, you gotta learn it.
yeah.
Yes.
So we have to look at those 2 areas and who wanna do those 2 areas. So I can work on pulling that out, and then we can
Okay.
Hash it over.
work through that a little bit more.
And I don't know if it's something that you would be able to just do, if we need to talk to like Joe, because they do a lot of the community
Oh, it would be
connections,
the
or
whole
Nick.
administrative
Okay.
team, yep.
Okay,
No, not just me.
okay.
They do all the good work.
Can I suggest no meal, no food, earlier start, earlier finish?
Can't we have cookies? I'm serious,
and water.
Tahar
Terry
makes
is
the
really
best
pushing for the
cookies.
cookies.
They
No meal.
just made wonderful.
No meal, it got too late,
Yeah,
got too long. And
I agree.
Well, the cookies might be nice at least, and then there can be a little chit chat before, because that was the whole point too, is we wanted
It
people
was.
to.
But I kind of like this space if it works, if we don't get so many people responding, because it's a little more intimate, you know, people don't sort of,
I'm not sure you're gonna have to worry about that, Terry.
you know. National
Or-
Night Out was huge this year.
I mean, or you
was.
meet, get through it all, and then you kind of stay back and, you know, you make time to kind of hold back a little bit if people wanna, you know, chat or ask questions, or, I mean, we can't,
The original purpose of this was not to talk at people, it was to talk with people.
With them,
Right,
And when we're
right.
doing these presentations, it allowed for questions, but it didn't necessarily allow for conversation. And if I'm
Right.
gonna do this go-around, the goal would be what I envisioned it to be initially when we discussed it last year. And it's to allow people to converse with us.
Right.
And if they have a topic they wanna discuss, we'll talk to them about that.
And that's what the food part was about the last time. Like, if you remember that,
That's
that's
what that
what
was
dinner,
supposed to
dinner
be.
was supposed to be, like,
That-
right?
but
You all
that's
sat in
also-
groups and had conversation,
I
which
think
was
the
pretty nice.
presentation is also attracting the people that really, they might wanna discuss a little bit, but it's also like, it can be intimidating to be like, just come and talk to us. You know, and if you don't actually have a topic, but you just wanna kinda know, so that was, I think, part of the both things, like, we wanna be able to talk, but then we're also gonna present just so you kinda can come, and if you did wanna just be like a silent person, you don't have to.
Well, I think the thing is that certainly talking about where we are with the referendum would be great, because they might have questions about that get answered during the presentation, and then that part is done, and then they can always ask more if they want, but they don't have to start from scratch.
So just to summarize, I've seen the community connections referendum. I also saw a lot of nodding when they said no food, not no food, no meal,
No
right?
meal.
Anytime
No
you're gonna bring
meal.
groups, got people together, you're gonna have water, soda, and
Right.
snacks,
Yeah,
or
'Cause
whatever.
that took a lot of
But
time.
that's fine.
It
And
was
then
nice,
possibly
but-
do it here, and then look for something
Can
like
we
that.
put
in
for
November.
ideas of topics, what our discussion about green space has been since the last time we did it?
Good.
Doesn't have to
Again,
be
it's up
done.
to the board, what they wanna talk about.
I mean, I would rather have board members talk about, or if there's a presentation, present on something they're a little more passionate about, as opposed to something that's being assigned to them.
So Teresa
This
gets
is
that
all up to
20.
you guys, what you guys wanna present.
You use the apprenticeship, thank you.
okay,
Well, if we wanna try to, maybe what we could do is have a little bit, you know, the whole cookies and soda, like the first just 10 minutes to kinda get people talking.
not even,
Yeah, okay,
Just
just
have
5
there.
minutes, just get here,
Just have it there.
start
talk,
at,
like chit
start
chat,
5 minutes late, and
chit chat
then,
around a little bit to get them, like, feeling like they can just come up to us. Do the presentation, but then explain after that we will also be chit chatting or taking questions, and then people might think later during it, like, oh, I wanna talk to Sarah Ramish about this, I had a question, or,
I mean,
you know,
I would,
somebody.
for presentation wise, I would think like 5 minutes, 10 at the most. If you're doing multiple things, and then you've got it open for people to
Yeah,
ask questions to
yeah.
all or one or two, I mean, I think, I agree with Scott, I think that was the
Cause what we
original
did like
goal,
15 minutes
you know,
per
to do
thing
is
last
just
time.
Yeah.
chat
Well,
with the community.
It was our run-through, and I
Yeah.
think we did fine.
But I think it went too
We
long.
just didn't have a lot of people and asking questions, so.
I think you guys are not giving yourselves enough credit. I thought it was, for a first time, was pretty well attended. You had about 10 to 12 people there.
That's
Which is,
true.
again, it's what happens, right? People
Yeah.
are busy.
No, I know,
So in
I know.
December, to get 10 to 12 people to show up,
Yeah,
Yeah,
to sit and be part of a conversation, to have a meal with you,
Board.
and to go through with it, and then they take that information out
they do.
Yeah.
and share with lots of other people.
Yeah,
And you gave them the opportunity to do that.
yeah.
I think that is very important, right? We put together a lot of things in this district, send out communications. Part of that's on the responsibility of the people as well to come to those
So
things.
are you gonna bring that up? No.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, and
Right,
we
so I
were
mean,
I
you
never
two
sat
people who
there and
attended
thought,
who weren't
oh my
even,
gosh, like,
who
No,
liked
and I
it.
guess
Tell
that's
me
good to hear,
later.
because you
Well,
guys
no one
weren't,
here.
like, obviously the presenters at that point.
Well, you were, yeah, I was gonna say, you
You
were
were
there,
attendees.
you were attendees. so-
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided,
thought it
I
was
mean,
good.
that helped me decide to run for school board, which may or may
Wow.
not make people happy, but that's what happened. You know,
Run for school board.
yeah, no, I was like, wow, like, they've got their act together, like, this is really good, so.
We are good
Like I said,
actors, no.
You guys gotta give yourself
Well,
credit.
I mean,
Yeah.
we probably know more than we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
I can always tell you where to go look for something if I can't bring it up off the top of my head, so.
I thought it was well organized
I just
So,
would like to
and
see it,
informative.
I would like to see it less structured, much more casual, much more relaxed. Come
I
and
was
ask
not
us
aware that we
questions.
could ask questions about anything,
Yeah.
so.
Yes,
If
that-
it was to be a conversation,
We should make it much clearer.
that could have been clearer.
Okay.
I agree with Sarah, maybe
And
less
you know,
organized
maybe-
is better.
When people come, when we do the invite, it would be nice, you know, for us especially to be prepared to do a nice job for people. If somebody had a burning question, if
Right.
there was a way they could send questions ahead of time.
I mean, you
That
can
would be
kind of
nice.
play it by ear, I guess. If people are just gonna keep talking to us, I mean, if we don't get to the presentation necessarily,
Well, I would hate to have just a couple people doing the talk, and I mean, we might be able to like split us up a little bit, so we have conversation, presentation, whatever, so that people can get what they want.
yeah, yeah. And we can just kind of read the room and say, and
I was
like,
gonna
but if the
s-
presentation is shorter, then we wouldn't have to necessarily worry about that too, and we would make it more open for the.
Well, and I think all of us, just from our non-board experiences, can easily read a room and figure out, you know, you can see if there's people like not, and you just go up to them, hey, thanks for coming,
Yeah,
what, you know, what brought you here?
yeah, yeah.
Or something, you know, is there something you wanna know, what, I don't know, something like that, I guess.
The one thing that I think of is the questions, anybody could ask a question. What the board does and the board's role in that question is very different than trying to get an answer for that question. Right, we don't do this stuff, we
Yeah.
react to this stuff, we oversee this stuff in a different way.
Right.
So if they're asking a direct question, like on Act 20, take for instance,
Yeah.
they say, what do you, and you're like.
I
So
would defer you
that-
to Dr. Carls.
I know, but
Yeah.
then it's not
Or,
conversation with the board, it's conversation with
no, I know,
administration.
but I would say then that's when I put on my nursing home hat when the state surveyors come in and they will ask questions that I don't know about. I don't have that answer for you at the moment.
Right.
Let me go talk to someone, find out and get back to you. But then you have to follow up with them
I'm
and get
not
back.
saying that.
But you know what,
to
kind of
say
like
Not
that.
to do it or anything like that.
Right, right,
I'm just
right.
saying that I got a feeling most people asking questions are gonna ask admin questions, not board questions. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Well, that's not what the
And
board
that's,
does.
that's a
an
chance to
administrative-
have a little education then too, and that's why I said it would be nice to have some of the questions if people had them.
Yeah.
If they sent them in ahead of time, what some questions might be, like we did with, when we did the listening sessions with the staff, that allows for a much more rich listening session.
Yep.
Because, and that's educational for a community too, to realize that we all have our own lanes.
Yep.
We function in our
I
lanes.
kinda like that.
Okay, so the next step would be, Vince, you're gonna reach out to who needs to be reached out to, and then I'm assuming we'll set up a meeting.
I like how you worded that.
I like that, whichever of them,
And then we'll eventually get a little Google Doodle thing
and we'll set
for a
the date.
date from Mo.
It'd be awesome if we can meet, you basically, like, whoever's there to tell us what we need to know, or we're gonna have questions too, and almost organize it all in that night. But I guess
Well,
we'll
try to do it by committee, right? So like you
Yeah,
go over
that's
a
what
different
I like the
piece of
committee.
that by committee, right?
Okay.
So the facility and finance could do the, referendum one. If you're looking at community connection, that curriculum committee could be the ones who are in charge, the three can be in charge of doing that.
And people then know who to ask about their specialty.
That's something that, maybe not this time, but maybe that's something that we could push at some point too, and that's actually what we do in the board level is the committee meetings. I don't think many people know about those, and that's
Well,
where
I think they know them, they just don't.
majority of the work is really talked about and done, so that might be something that maybe next year, talk about more of that, you know, and encourage people to show up to that too, or at least look at the agendas, you know? Right. Okay, so is that
We don't need a
everybody-
motion or anything on that.
No,
Okay.
Nope.
no motions.
All right, so we have our policy reviews, or our policies.
Yeah. The policy committee reviewed and unanimously moved to the full board with recommendation approval of 22 policies and administrative guidelines recommended by Neola at their August 7th, 2024 meeting. So these mostly are just updates that came through Neola. The only one that's not through Neola was a change to our concussion policy based, administrative guidelines, sorry, based on how hospitals now handling impact testing, so we needed to tweak our policy on that as well.
I'll move to approve the policies as presented.
No second.
We did it.
Terry.
Either one of them did it.
Sarah, I'll take seconded.
Sarah, okay. Motion by Terry, second by Sarah Rip. Any more discussion?
No, I will
Questions?
just say there were two that we had to pull out that we'll look at.
Yeah, we
They
have
just
some
were-
more, we didn't do.
And we have more others
And we
that
have
will be
more to
coming,
do.
so
Yeah, we didn't do all of them.
It's never done all.
it's never done. But we have a system, don't we, Scott?
It depends upon where you sit.
Gonna know that from now on. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right. Gifts and donations, we don't have any this time. Committee reports. CISA 5.
Was the meeting at the steakhouse and I was sick, so
Oh.
I had the flu.
Oh,
You missed the best meeting.
Well, that's not
They
fair.
all said they appreciated me not coming. Because I was sick.
Oh,
I was like, wow.
wait a minute.
I was like, yeah.
Okay, co-curricular items report. Probably
Probably
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah. OSC.
No report, we haven't met since the last meeting, but we do have a meeting next week,
Okay.
so I'll have
Perfect.
more feedback.
And then our board committee reports.
Oh, wait, can I just
Oh.
go back to that? How
Yeah.
did the lemonade stand go?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, I thought of that while we were sitting here, that I should have asked for a final synopsis, like numbers. I did volunteer at it, and it
Yeah.
was busy, and the kind of the
It was hot.
conversation I had a bit with, Stephanie Jolitz when I saw her, it seemed like, you know, they had shifts
I
filled.
mean, everything, I guess everything went okay?
It seemed,
Good.
from what I've heard and what I
And the fair
observed,
had
that it
shut
went.
down.
And then the fair
Yeah, I
ended
know,
early.
and
Yeah.
they had to shut the fair down,
Yeah.
but, so I don't
They had
know
lemon.
ultimately like what the revenue was,
Yeah.
because
Well,
the whole
yeah, it
thing
was
was
just-
shortened, but
Yeah.
that aspect of it, I think we at least managed to get people signed up and
Yeah, I just was
move
hoping
forward
it
with it, yeah.
ran smoothly, so,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personnel.
Personnel Committee, myself, Adam, and Heather met last Wednesday. We discussed advisory pay. We had a request to increase the advisory pay, and as we looked at that, we decided, let's just look at all of it. So we're gonna take a look at all the different, would it be correct to say advisory pays for the different
The whole co-curricular pay schedule.
curricular activities? So we're
It
gonna
just, it
bring that
hasn't been
back.
looked at for how long, Lisa? Like,
Long time.
okay, so we just
We,
figured it's
we all
time.
got a view of it, I think, when we were looking at the handbook, but we're gonna have a discussion about the actual numbers and maybe make some adjustments. So we asked that to be brought back to us. And then we talked about the community linkage listening session, which we talked about here tonight. That was our meeting.
Thanks, Scott. Curriculum,
We did not meet,
okay.
but I just wanted to reiterate what was in Nick's report that nobody got to hear because he wasn't here. And that was the part about, and we've been mentioning, that the technical education CTE incentive grant, they received a grant of, or money of $13,560.49, which is good.
Awesome. And then there was another grant.
Yep, they had got Lodi School District peer review mentoring grant of $12,232. So I think those are quite impressive.
Mm-hmm, that's awesome. Thank you. And policy. I mean,
We did it.
yeah,
Yeah, we did it, yeah.
yeah.
More,
So-
more coming
come.
next
I
time,
don't think there's
next
much
month, so,
more you can.
yep.
All right, our future meetings. So our board professional development is this Wednesday, August 14th at 5:30. Our next regular school board meeting is Monday, September 9th at 5:30 with closed session, 6:30 at open. Our curriculum committee is Tuesday, August 20th at 4:30. Our facility and finance committee is Tuesday, August 20th at 6. Our personnel committee is Wednesday, September 4th at 4:30. And our policy committee is Wednesday, September 4th at 6. And sorry to say, board, we have a little more work to do.
I make a
tonight.
motion to adjourn to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes, sections 1985 1CE, to consider employment and compensation and performance evaluation data of administrators, teachers, support staff, coaches, and crew.
I will second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Roll call, I will start over this time. Scott?
Yes.
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 All right, motion passes 7-0. We are enclosed.